Are we throwing the rapping, the writing stuff out the window for this? Or are you bringing this? Do you want to be that guy and bringing it into
I could do it because you don't have a single song like Dark Queen on Die Lit that you have writing about a dedication to a mother and everything she was able to do to raise Uzi and make him the man that he is. So that is one point that I do want to make. But I want to first go to something you had just said about Melt My Eyes and The Forever Story when you were talking about high-ranking songs. I want to bring that here since you brought that up. You have to admit that there is not a single song that can compete with EXO Tour.
No,
on Die Lit.
Not a single one. Only problem is that these are like 19 to 20 songs.
Well, you also have, I think the highs are way higher on Love Is Rage 2 when you're looking at 20 Mins, when you're looking at EXO Tour Life, when you're looking at No Sleep Leak, when you're looking at For Real.
Do you want me to go through the highs of this album?
You could, bro. And you can also go through the lows.
Yeah.
Let's go through the lows.
I can go through the lows of Love Is Rage 2. Absolutely. I think both of these albums have certain songs that I would bring to the cutting board.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that.
For sure.
So I want to bring that out of the conversation.
But the highs are higher on Love Is Rage 2.
Because of one song? You want me to go through
20 Mins and EXO Tour Life are better than any songs on that album. And one of the best songs is because of Uzi. Look at Shuda. Look at Shuda, one of the best songs in the album.
It's not the best song.
And then you're getting Love Is Rage 2 type of
First
Uzi.
of all, long time intro is a much better intro than what we have on Love Is Rage 2. R.I.P. Love Hurts, Shuda, Right Now. You have
brother. I could read Trackless too.
Flatbed freestyle.
I could read Trackless
No. I want you to understand. I want you to understand what's going on in this track. Chopper Won't Miss. R.I.P. Fredo. Top. Like we're talking about some prime Playboy Cardi songs. Not only that, but listen. I'm not going. I agree. I think I don't want to disrespect this song. I think what Uzi did with the personal writing on Love Is Rage 2 was really cool. It's awesome. Just not going to Uzi for that. I know you aren't. I know I'm not. We're going to these albums for fucking bangers. If I were to put this and I were to challenge you to a hit battle right now with these songs, tracklist for tracklist, we know where we go. I already did it before. I know where I would go. I would be going with Die Lit. Do you want to do the track battle right now?
I want to keep arguing. I don't want to waste time on a track.
Do you want to do the track?
We'll do it at the end. We'll do it at the end. For now, I want to make my arguments because we're talking about bangers, songs. I want to talk about how Uzi has a more dynamic performance than Playboy Cardi on this album. I'll give you an example. If you want a song that has hyper ad-lib based energetic performance, you get that with a song like For Real. But if you want a performance where you're getting auto crooning and a blend of rapping as well, you can get that on something like Dark Queen. If you want a song where Uzi can blend in with the production itself, you have that with Early 20 Ragers. So Uzi is able to do everything that Cardi can and more, and I think that's what makes his performance way more dynamic, is that he can evoke emotion way better than Playboy Cardi can. And I think thematically, Uzi playing into like the heartbreak themes on so many songs on here also adds points for me, because at least we know the album is based on something, whereas like Die Lit, as much as I love it and it's full of bangers, it's sort of him just like, you know, partying and being wild, and like it's kind of all over the place.
Yes, but it's so dynamic. It's such a beautiful track list to listen to when you're going into like Playboy Cardi's performances. Example, like to say that Cardi was not as animated as Uzi, I think is a completely false statement. Looking at example, you want something that attacks a bit more of like a melodic sort of standpoint, that's something that's a bit more like subdued. You go into something like a Love Hurts, for example. You want something that's a lot more high voltage. You go into something like, let's say, an R.I.P. or something like a Shuda, for example. So I think they both strive in that. What I'm trying to say with Die Lit is that I had a hard time with Die Lit, like going into it, just because the first time I'm like, bro, I've never heard this before. It felt like an upgrade off of Self-Titled and brought a new sound to a completely different height. This is the pinnacle of Playboy Cardi for me, and you understand how important this album is within his discography. With Uzi, I'm looking at Love Is Rage 2 and I'm like, okay, this is fantastic, don't get me wrong, it's arguably the best album within his discography, but The Perfect Love Tape, you go to Lil Uzi Vert versus the World, I feel like there's similar song structures within those albums that were not necessarily copy-pasted, but it was a building block. I do feel like Die Lit strived because of how unique it was for that 2018
Let's
trap
not talk
landscape.
about impact, because when you look at how important Love Is Rage 2 is, being the first mainstream emo rap album, that is massive. When you want to look at diversity of track list, when you want to look at the balance of sad boy anthems and high-octane bangers on Love Is Rage 2, it's the full package. Also, another point I want to make is that when you're looking at the curation ability from Cardi, well, I think it was well calculated for the most part. You do still have quite a few weak features. When you want to look at Nicki Minaj and Poke It Out, or you want to look at Red Cold Hearted on Middle of the Summer, she has the singing abilities of a girl from a middle school talent show. like pure amateur singing on that track.
wanna go into
also,
the memorable
Keef on
features.
Mileage, not the strongest. Not the
Don't be
strongest.
picking on Chief Keef. That's a fantastic feature. Looking at Young Nudie on Rest in Peace Fredo, looking at Choppable Miss with Young Thug, looking at No Time with Gunna, even looking at Travis Scott with Love Hurts. That was another thing that I was gonna say. I feel like Love is Rage 2 maybe needed a bit more features. It needed to be a bit more meat to the features.
Perfect. You had Pharrell on the weekend. What more do you need?
But bro, like it's 15
He carried it on himself. It's been 4 points for Uzi.
It doesn't because bro, we've said this before though. Uzi has a hard time carrying studio albums.
All of Uzi's best songs are him alone.
Yes.
Think about it. All of them.
I agree with you. I would have liked to see a bit more features on here. I would have loved to see that Cardi moment maybe again within that track list. I would have loved to see more collaborators on it. So I feel like also points that I'm going to give for Dilit is that feature list. There's iconic features within this track list that I do feel like it makes the album a bit more entertaining.